On the menu today, can we build a working Commodore disk drive out of Lego?
Welcome.
Hello chip dippers, or should I say brick stackers, because, well, you remember my full-size working Lego Commodore 64, the Brix D4. We've only got a few days left to get that up to 5,000 votes on Lego Ideas, so they can consider mass producing it. So if you haven't voted yet and want to see it in your local shops, feel free to get bricky with it and lodge your vote now. But either way, I got a lot of requests to do other machines, and one reason I haven't is, well, it was the unusual height of the breadbin C64 that even made it possible to put that tall mechanism for a working Lego keyboard in there in the first place, something that's kind of impossible for, say, an Amiga 500. And somehow I just don't think it's as fun without the keyboard. Maybe I'll revisit the idea in the future, but for now, there's one thing that's always been missing from the Brix D4. Peripherals. This is the SD card disk drive for the Commodore 64, and this plastic SD2IEC case from thefuturewas8bit.com is really great, but it doesn't quite match the retro Lego aesthetic. And if you want to provide your own disk drive case, you can just buy the PCB version from them, or take it out of their case, which is what I've done in this case. Now, on one hand, if you wanted to fit that internally, Gaz Marshall made this fantastic 3D printing model, pair it up with the internal version, or this alternative internal model made by retrohacks.net, and you've got a really sleek solution. Or on the other hand, as the SD2IEC is open source, you could order your own PCB from PCBWay! Their high quality PCBs start at just $5, because as we all know, PCB stands for Peripherals Cherish Bricks, doesn't it? Personally though, I just love the idea of replicating that huge old Commodore 1541 disk drive as an external Lego drive. After all, nothing could really be more retro than Lego and Commodores. So, as before, I'm going to design the idea first on Studio. But unlike before, we'll finish the whole real-life build in this one video. Excellent. Alright, here I go. Brick a leg, everybody. And through another magical Lego Commodore coincidence, the SD2IEC PCB itself is almost exactly the same height, length and width as a Lego 4x8 plate, apart from that corner piece. So in the software, let's use a green 4x8 plate to represent the PCB so we can easily design around it. And here's the real disk drive, and of course we want to try and mimic this as much as we can in a small scale. And it's got that kind of bottom heavy disk drive area in dark grey or black where the disk goes in. So let's try and replicate that. And the other thing we need to think about is cable management. We don't want it to be possible to pull the cable out through the Lego or damage the actual solder points on the end of the wire. So let's design in some kind of cable grip system to the back of the case. That just might work. I'm also just going to adjust our fake PCB here and put in that little corner piece just so that we can design everything perfectly around it. Because we want to make sure that if you push the SD card into the front, there's a nice buffer and stop area so the PCB itself can't move back or hopefully forwards again. And now as we layer things up, we can continue to build that dark front bottom heavy disk drive area. Kind of looks like a licorice all sort, doesn't it? I'm peckish now. Babe, do you want a licorice all sort?
Licorice? What sort?
No, all sorts.
You bought different kinds?
No, just one kind. All sorts.
I'm so confused. I'm gonna go have a profiterole.
Don't you mean peripheral? Well, anyway, for the top we could use 2x4 tiles, but they have this groove underneath that would make the front not look very flush. Good girl. Did you go to the loo? Well, the Apple Macs have been showering again. Well, at least they won't need to wear a Macintosh.
What?
A Macintosh to keep the rain off. You don't say Macintosh in America?
We do referring to computers.
No, like a raincoat, like a poncho. Macintosh.
No, we just call them raincoats or ponchos.
Okay, well my Apple ponchos won't need a poncho. Does that make more sense?
No, what are you talking about?
Macintoshes!
Computers!
Wow. Now you might be wondering why I'm not covering the whole of the top with this plate and leaving that area exposed. Well, the SD2IEC has those 3 buttons. There's also 2 LED lights there, and I've got plans for those. You see, I think if I put this 1x1 plate under there, and if we make it transparent, it should act as both a light pipe to carry the light of the LED up through the vent, but also because these little vent pieces have a bit of give to them, they're quite flexible, we should also be able to push down on them, and that light pipe will push the buttons as well. I think it should all line up correctly. But of course the proof of the pudding at Retro Recipes is in the plugging it in and testing it. Yeah, I don't want to eat it. What I do want to do though is put that black plate in there, because we've got these 3 buttons, and actually the edges of the plates should just catch the first and second, and then a little further away catch the edge of the 3rd button. The first button, by the way, is next disk, the next one is previous disk, and the final button is reset drive. So that's quite a nice little break in between them there. Now the real drive has this Commodore logo on the top, and we do have these letter pieces, but they are 1x1 and we've got 2x2 tiles, so it would never be central. However, I think I have a sticker solution for that, so I'll come back to that. And the other thing is this green LED in the bottom left, so we need to find some kind of LED cover for that. Oh wait, that's a pie. Maybe they do have profiteroles. Now I'm not sure what type of LED cap to use here. One is more of a correct bright green. But this bulbous one somehow just makes the whole thing look even more retro and fun. But of course you can use whichever one you want. I'm sticking with that one. And that means that our concept build is done. So before we get to the real life build, let's do a proper 3D render. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I think we need some embellishments though, maybe a couple of Commodore logos, some other things. And so we can get to that point, let's take this brick to the future and start building. Now, I don't have all the perfect parts in stock to minimize the breaks between bricks, but we can certainly fashion up something that looks almost the same as our render. Okay, well, it's coming together. As mentioned, I don't have everything in stock, so I'm going to try these round light pipe pieces instead. They may, however, not quite push my buttons, if you know what I mean, but we'll try them anyway. Let's test them out, see if you can hear this. Now, what about that logo on the back of the drive? Obviously, we've oriented things around a little differently with those vents for the buttons, but I have these stickers from when I did the Brix Key 4 project, and I should be able to cut this logo out and just put it on the back. Isn't it funny how those little touches can make all the difference? This is looking great. But there's still a couple of things we could add to really make this project shine. And I had an idea. Yep, you see, every floppy disk drive needs a floppy disk, and so does our Blocky Brix drive. But there's still one thing missing. No, not a dog hair. Puppyfractic. It's the logo on the front of the disk drive. And the future was 8bit.com sent me these stickers. I'm hoping by the time you watch this, they'll be available to purchase on their website. And I should be able to just put one of these directly above the SD card slot. However, they are a bit transparent and that won't stand out very well on our grey. So I'm just going to try and use some of the white sticky backing, cut it down to size, just to show a bit more brightness through the logo. How romantic. However, we're not there yet. We still need to test it out. So let's plug it in and give it a go. Okay, I've got my floppy disk, Blocky Brix ready as well. So let's power the machine back on, and fingers crossed, we should see the power light through the top of the Blocky Brix drive. That's way brighter than I even thought it would be. Oh, quick side note, because I don't have the square plates, only the round ones, I've wrapped them in tape like this, which will mean the empty center of the plate still pushes down on the button, hopefully. But you shouldn't need to do that if you get the square plates, which I've ordered as well. Next step is actually try and load some files and change disks and reset the drive. Put our Blocky Brix in. Suppose we'll just try loading something up. I'll go for the file browser that comes with the SD card. Look at that. Beautiful. Perfect. So let's just load up a game. Cool. Okay, well, thanks to Marty, I think we've demonstrated that game loading works, but let's try out those disk swap buttons. All right, so California Games is a good one, actually. We don't even need to load the game because it has two disks here, 1 and 2, and this auto swap file tells the SD2IEC that when you press next disk or previous disk, which file to swap into. So if we just actually enter disk 1, you saw the little light flash there. So this is now disk 1 is loaded. I can hit Q to quit. So there you go, we can see side 1 is loaded. Now, here's the trick. If we can hit the next disk button on here and find that this changes to side 2, we know it works. I got a little flash there. It's loaded something, and now we just list it. And if this says side 2, then our SD2IEC is almost fully working. Side 2. All right, we should be able to press previous disk. Saw that little flash there. Side 1. That is so cool. I can barely speak. We are swapping disks in Lego. Okay, the final trick to try is resetting the drive, and that's this third and final button. Here we go. Took a bit longer there, which is promising because, yes, that is a much longer file folder directory structure. That's it. The Blocky Brix drive fully working with pushable buttons, LEDs on the top, and of course, Commodore logo. Love it. Now, if you want to build your own Blocky Brix drive, I've put all the details in the description below, or you can just go to perifractic.com/brixdrive. And there's no charge, of course. I've uploaded the details for where to get the bricks and which part numbers you need, as well as the SD drives to my website, just for the benefit of the retro community. So there it is. Oh, of course, donations are always appreciated, but not expected. But that's it from me. I'll be back soon with more delicious retro recipes, but no profiteroles, just peripherals. Thanks for watching, subscribe and join below, and cheerio! Okay, my Apple raincoats won't need a raincoat.
What are you even saying?
Well, that's what I mean. It doesn't make sense unless you use the British word.
It doesn't make sense at all.
It does, because they're wearing a They are a Macintosh, so they're wearing a Macintosh, right?
No.
Oh, by the way, we're out of blue roll.